Hello, welcome back to another segment in excerpts from A Spiritual Ascension, talking about validation. If you would like a reading or to talk to me about your own journey, there is a link below um, to book time with me. Also, I've done several courses on the ascension process, and that link to Udemy is also below. So okay, I never know how to start these. Um, Usually something during the day will kind of hit me. Um, and, or I'll see something on a video or read something. And to understand that people need validation in some way. And I know I think in one of my speeches that I did I was invited to do a speech to a group of people. And I was talking about that all our lives we're looking for validation, right? Um, when we are born, we're looking to our parents as young children. We need our validation from, did I do a good job on this? Or, good job, like say to the little toddlers. And then we're off to school and we want validation from our teachers and from our fellow students. And, we go into high school and we may get on the track team or play football. And we need that validation from, fellow students and our teachers, right? You're doing a good job. You're probably going to get into a good college. That validation to keep going, to be your most excellence, right? Which is great. The thing is, when we lose focus from getting that validation from within ourselves, right? Um, and that's what this journey is a lot about. You finding your own validation within yourself. Most of us have always looked to being validated, after leaving, you do go to college, validated by your professors. If you play a sport in college, um, then you leave college, you got to get that good job, you need that validation. I know working on Wall Street in New York City, it's like probably one of the best experiences I ever had, but also when I think about it as far as validation, one of the worst experiences. Because in New York, it's all about who you know, what do you do, where do you live, like what's your income, like where do you go on vacation, stuff like that. And by your answers, you're kind of saying, oh, does that validate me in your eyes? I remember a lot of the managing directors would pick really exotic places to go on vacation each year. So it was all like a kind of a comparison. Well, I'm going to Aruba or I'm taking a tour of Greece and it was these really big time things that I know I couldn't, afford at the time. But it was just this thing of, oh, so where are you vacationing this summer? And that validation of, oh, I have to, it's kind of like I had to have well, this person had to have a good vacation plan. And to me, it was kind of like a validation, not so much, I'm going away with my family and, we plan to do this, but it was a validation from everyone else that, yes, I'm doing so well that I can take that kind of trip. You know what I'm saying? Um, so you're getting validation within that job. Um, you get, find a soulmate or get married, and that still there's that validation from your partner, am I doing a good enough job? Does this person like me even before when you're dating? Then having children. And then the cycle repeats, there's always that sense of, and even though we've learned to live with it, and then look at social media, right? Social media, like how many likes do I have? How many followers do I like? You need that validation. You probably, as an old soul, have been already know, that you are an old soul and have probably been some kind of people pleaser in the past. Am I doing good enough in this person's eyes? Whether it be parent from being when you were young or um, just going through life. I know for myself, it was a big deal as far as needing the validation from others because I did not have that self-worth within myself. And I was just sitting here thinking that, wow, this 5-year journey that I went through, as difficult as it was, like I did that. Like I can't believe I did that. And hopefully you're following my story. It's kind of on a different playlist. And I suggest that you start at the beginning, at the intro video, and then move on from there because it's in chronological order. And it tells all about, my kind of life story and also going on what started that 5-year ascension journey for myself. But just sitting here and saying, oh my goodness, like I did that. Like I went through all these hardships, these really tough things, and I made it through to the other side. And it's now like, I don't need anyone else to validate what I did. Like, I'm so proud of that for myself, that I've built up my self-worth enough to know what I've accomplished. So just wanted to do a short video and saying, kind of look back and as you're on this journey, but as I say too, you're probably going to be alone a lot of the time. People are going to come into your life at certain points to help you get through it or help you get to the next phase or something like that, and then they're going to leave. So a lot of the time you're on your own because spirit needs you to concentrate on getting rid of all those that old way of thinking. Okay. All those old aspects, old habits, things like that, because you're really becoming a whole new person, a whole different person, right? And they say having two lives within one lifetime. So just really looking back to say, where in my life was I always looking for some kind of validation and from whom? Who was it from? Okay. Because when you get to the other side, it's like, I don't need that anymore. I'm so confident within myself because of everything that I've endured and I've gone through. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.